Good evening. You're listening to the Garden City Community Chat Show with your hosts Carrie, Tom, and Mike. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well, hello, Garden City and all our surrounding neighbors. Let's give a shout out to Westland, Canton, Dearborn Heights, Livonia, Inkster, just to name a few. Welcome to episode. Well, welcome to episode number 696 of the Garden City Community Chat Show. It's Thursday, February 20th, 2025. We're so happy you could be with us tonight. We hope you're all staying warm and safe and doing well. I am your host, Carrie, and also joining me tonight, Garden City's very own meteorologist, Dr. Tom Iwinski. How you doing, Tom?
Staying warm.
Yeah, really. Been rough. Mike just called. Probably having an issue. Let me just check here. Anything? Nope. Didn't say nothing. He's technically supposed to get Mike. Tom's going to be back shortly with current and up-to-date podcast for you. Tonight, we always look forward to having these guys back. Great sports. Derek, Steve, and Ken from DSD Sports Chat will be here too. So stay tuned. Have your sports questions and comments ready. Also, Joe Bartley is back for the installment. Tax Talk will have information from Joe for tax season. And then if Mike's here, we'll keep out the show with community events. If not, I will. Or if he is here, we'll both do it. So get your calendars ready for that. I also want to mention real quick, if you're watching this live on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and post your questions and comments in the comment section. You can all find us right now live on Facebook at facebook.com/GCChat. And over on our YouTube channel, just search for Garden City Community Chat Show. You can also email your questions to us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com, and we'll do our very best to get those answered for you. Remember, we're here to promote not only our community, but yours as well. Speaking of community, if you have any events or announcements that you'd like to get out to our listeners, all you have to do is email the details to us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com or message us on our Facebook page, and we'll be more than happy to pass that information along. Remember, you're always welcome to come on the show, promote your community, your business, and organization anytime. We also encourage any local business to check out and join the Garden City Business Alliance. See what great things they can do for you. For more information, head on over to their website at gardencitybusinessalliance.org. Okay, we're going to get Tom in here now with a check of this brutal weather. And then we're going to be talking with the boys from DSD Sports Chat. So stand by. Okay, let's do a check on weather with Doppler Tom. Let's see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend coming up. Tom, take it away. Boy, it's been brutal out there, man.
Yes, it has, but who's ready for a change? It's Michigan. We'll change it up. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
And we're going to switch it up again because that's what Michigan does. But in the meantime, it's definitely going to be on the chilly side in the short term. We're dealing with temperatures still in the teens today and at this hour, and we are going to be going down into the lower to mid-teens tonight. So it's going to remain fairly stagnant overall. We're going to be dealing with a little bit of cloud cover at times in and out. So it's going to be kind of modifying our temperatures, but getting into the low to mid-teens for overnight lows. And overall, all that snow flurry action is pretty much winding down for the rest of the day. And as we get into the day on Friday, we will be seeing our temperatures warmer than they have been in quite a while. We're going to be seeing temperatures in the upper 20s. Yes, below freezing, but still we're turning the page on this Arctic air. It's starting to lose its grip finally over the region. And by the time we get into this upcoming weekend, we're going to continue to be on the up and up and when it comes to temperatures. So as we get into Saturday, looks not too shabby. We're going to be dealing with probably some intervals of clouds and sun. And again, temperatures in the upper 20s to potentially lower 30s. And we will get into the lower 30s. We'll finally get above freezing on Sunday, the 23rd, as we get into the end of the weekend. It's been a while since we've been above freezing, and it's going to finally melt all that snow. Probably not all of it, but it'll start the melting process of the snow that's been plaguing us over the last couple of weeks. And the overall trend is, as we go into next week, 40s. Definitely a name of the game that we have not been dealing with. Warm temperatures will be fairly prevalent as we go into all of next week, above freezing temperatures as well. So we're going to be dealing with a little systems here and there. It's going to be more rain than anything as they move through, very light in nature. We won't see a whole lot in the way of any accumulating snow next week. It's going to be more rain than anything at times, with temperatures remaining well into the 40s each day. So as we go into Monday into Tuesday, we're just going to be tingling with a little bit of these disturbances, bringing some light rain showers from time to time. And overall, you'll see temperatures getting around the freezing mark as we go into the overnight hours, but you're not going to see anything substantial really accumulating, even if it wants to get going in that colder air as well. Overall, again, the rain will be fairly prevalent at times as we go into the mid to late portions of next week. So what I'm really hinting at is this warm up. We're going to be starting to see it again on Sunday with temperatures getting above freezing, and then remaining there as we go into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into Thursday as we remain pretty much around 40 degrees for highs. We can see a little bit of snow here and there hinted in there at times. Very similar to kind of how today went early in the day, very light accumulations, but maybe up to a dusting at very best, still throughout the end of the month. But the name of the game is going to be more rain than snow, and very little in the way of any accumulations going forward for the rest of the month. So I know a lot of people are excited about that because it's been a brutal last couple of weeks with the rain, with the snow and the very cold temperatures. So we'll take that. But overall, in the meantime, we are going to still be under the colder weather over the next couple of days as the Arctic air is going to start to lose its grip. Other than that, we are still fairly active when it comes to weather all across the country. Looking at the radar at this hour, you can still see some snow showers around the Great Lakes. I mean, yeah, it's been cold, but it needs to be substantially colder for these Great Lakes to really freeze over, and they haven't really done that this year, at least for the most part. You still see quite a bit of lake effect snow across Ohio, Pennsylvania, and into New York at this hour, and even into portions of the UP over the last couple of days as well. And you can see a little feeder band coming off of Lake Michigan as well. So it's been very active in that regard. You can see the general gist across the country isn't anything too exciting. It's just cold everywhere. I mean, places in North Dakota and into Montana have been seeing wind chills and temperatures, actual temperatures, 40 below. They're definitely dealing with quite a bit of cold air all across the country, and even going down toward the Gulf Coast states as well. There was a pretty substantial winter storm going across the southern U.S. and across the Tennessee Valley as well. They've been dealing with quite a bit of flooding out there, as you know, and then it changed over to snow. Virginia Beach today got over a foot of snow. So it's been quite a wild time in the weather department, with a lot of the country dealing with wintry weather. So finally starting to quiet down in that front finally. So other than that, if you want to keep tuning to all my local weather information, this is DopplerTomsWeather.com, and it will keep you updated as we start to get into potentially the tail end of the worst of winter. I'm not going to say the end of winter, because as you know, as we get into March, anything can happen in March. I mean, you can have snow one day and rain the next day, 50 degrees one day and 20 degrees another day. So March is a very volatile month at times. The weather will always change in March. It's a very changeable month, but in the short term, we're going to warm up as we get into next week. So enjoy that as we continue to start to deal with the melting of winter. And hopefully we're going to start to turn the page on that. But in the meantime, I don't see any significant winter storms in the meantime. So finally a change in our weather pattern. So I know a lot of people are excited for that. So enjoy that.
Looking forward to that. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Thorne and the Party Animals are watching from Vietnam, and he said that it was 97 degrees there in Hanoi.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's hot.
He's coming home, heading home tomorrow. So safe travels to Jerry and the Animals. Thanks for joining us tonight. We also have Dennis Dykman is in there, the carpet guy. Also, Heather Lundgren is in there, and a few others that I can see who's watching. So appreciate you all for tuning in. So you have a great night, my friend. See you next week.
Sounds good.
All right, don't work too hard.
Always.
All right. All right, let's introduce our guests for tonight. They are popular and frequent guests on the show. Please welcome back Derek, Steve, and Dan from DSD Sports Chat. Let me bring them in here. There's Derek, there's Steve, there's Dan. How you guys doing?
What's up? How's it going?
What's up?
Good evening. Good evening. What got the hockey game on? We're feeling good.
Yeah,
Go USA.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes. So thanks for being here tonight. Always good to have you.
It's always a pleasure.
So look, let's talk some sports here.
It's a good group of a good looking group of guys there.
Oh,
Damn.
Before we get to our Detroit teams, let's talk about the Super Bowl. Your thoughts? Did you think it was ever going to be a blowout?
Gosh.
I can't really give you my thoughts. I didn't even watch it. I boycotted, and the guys know about that.
I gotta give Derek credit for sticking to your guns.
Yeah.
I ended up putting it on, a little bit here and there, but it was not even worth it. I'm sure you're gonna pick up where I left off, but I'm watching this like, oh wow, it just turned into a blowout essentially, and you're just looking at. I mean, you kind of were happy because you saw Mahomes, cry a little bit, whatever, but it was kind of just not fun though. It was kind of just then it became too predictable, and then the halftime show was something else I couldn't quite understand. But overall I just thought it was a horrible production from front to back, so I'm looking forward to the Lions versus the Bills maybe next year, or Lions versus Ravens. But what do you think, Derek? I don't know.
It wasn't the Super Bowl we wanted.
No, it wasn't. And obviously, if you're a Detroit sports fan, I mean, there were a lot of people like me that just chose not to watch it. I think the hype wasn't there. I think, but apparently the rest of America disagreed, as it shattered records. It broke the record of 2 years ago, which I couldn't believe either.
Yeah.
It was like
it doesn't matter who's playing. It just doesn't matter who's playing. People are still going to tune in.
Did you tune in, Danny, or did you boycott it?
It was background noise.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't exactly tuned into the set like most years where I'm invested. It just was very hard to get invested in this year's game. I basically was watching it to hope Mahomes lost, and I hate rooting for someone to lose, but it's just the fact of it's just you just don't care. There's no can't take no stock in it. Even if the Lions were playing in it, I mean, you're going to be excited, but obviously it's the matter of you just couldn't care less about either two teams unless you're from that particular area. So
true,
right.
And then the halftime show, as you said, was just like I don't necessarily love that brand of music. I mean, I'm not gonna knock on it because I know it's very popular in some genres. Maybe I'm just getting old. I'm 36. I'm getting old, but
I'm right there with you.
I just don't care for that. Like, where's Shakira? Like, where's Madonna? Like, bring out some
even the old school. I mean, where's the old school rock and roll bands, or like when they had Prince out one time, and get guys like that,
or good collaborations. You can collaborate rock and roll with hip hop, and I think that hip hop,
exactly.
It's the new age because you have Jay-Z now, his production company now basically picks the halftime show. So as long as you have Jay-Z in charge, you're going to get a lot of this. But I did hear rumors, I don't know how true they are, that Creed is in the discussion for next year's Super Bowl halftime. So we'll see if that's true. But I think a lot of the memes and a lot of like how Creed's been kind of in the news lately, they've kind of been touring once again. So I'd love to see that as a 90s millennial, like the three of us.
That would be cool.
I'd love to see that. That would make
the Lions in the Super Bowl too.
I don't know about the other 120 something million people that would tune in if they would agree, but I'd watch it.
Right. I'd watch it.
I think a lot of the generation now, besides us, Derek, doesn't know who Creed is.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't
unfortunately.
think. We grew up with that.
They have been more popular in the news because a lot of that song's been, circulating the social media. So the younger people are picking up on who Creed is, but they only know like one song or whatever.
Yeah,
it's not
with
like
arms wide open.
Yeah, it would
social media will do that.
Like a 90s, like maybe punk, not even Creed, maybe bring someone else. I'm like, I don't know, Pearl Jam. I'm just throwing out one or something like that.
Just a collab of some kind, different.
But they got to switch it up. Green Day, yeah. I mean, they do got to switch it up. I feel like the past few have not been. I mean, they've been not that great in my opinion. But
it's been all hip hop and rap. I feel like for at least three or four last years. So I mean, you definitely got to evolve a little bit and kind of have something for everybody.
Right. All right. Well, let's move on to the Lions. Good season, disappointing season, combination of both, eh?
Yeah. Steve, you're gonna go with
I definitely say it's like you had the highs and lows of the season. Of course, injuries killed you, but you had such a hot start and a hot year. you played well, you played competitive in most all your games, and that's all you ask for out of your team, especially when they're injured. Kind of like 70% of your whole team is injured. Those critical players. So it kind of stung there at the end, and especially when you thought you had a chance against the Commanders. They weren't. They were flirting a little bit with being good, but you thought Jaden Daniels, he's a rookie quarterback, maybe they'd give him a shot. But no. They ran us over. And Meek going down with that fractured arm was huge.
Icing on the cake.
That kind of opened the floodgates, I think, right there. And it kind of was a bummer of an ending. But just like the Tigers season, I was happy with that way they ended. They made the playoff, and just with the Lions, they did a lot. They conquered over injuries and still made the playoffs. They lost in the first round. Yeah, they had a great season. So. I can't be mad.
Yeah. Do you think that layoff hurt him?
I don't think it would have mattered, honestly.
No, I think it partially. Go ahead, Danny.
I think for me, this is what I'm going to say. This is a fat guy perspective 101. It's like that first slice of cherry pie. It's fantastic, but there's still another piece in that pie, and you didn't get that pie because why? Because you just didn't. And that's how I feel about the Lions. They just fell just a little bit short this year. A good season, successful, but there's a lot of like what ifs. What ifs if he was healthy? What if Hutch was healthy? And
or a better game plan.
I just don't like that. There you go.
Because we talked about it. I'm a little bit more vented at this point. I'm over it, obviously, but at the guys, we were hot. It was like the coaching. This is a total failure. We're Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson out the door before.
Oh,
did we lose Steve?
I think we did. But I think what Steve was saying.
Sorry, I'm cutting out a little bit. But
So who's going to get help Hutch?
Well, that's the big question mark, and I think that there's a lot of key free agents this season that is left to kind of be decided on. I mean, you got Carlton Davis, cornerback, Kevin Zeitler, your top guard that you acquired, Levi Onwuzurike, Derek Barnes, Tim Patrick, Trevor Nowaski. These guys are all going to be free agents that you got to make decisions on, and of course, you were proven when you watched that Super Bowl, even in the NFC Championship game, that I really don't think you stood a chance against that Eagles defense. I don't care how good your offense was. Jared Goff probably would have thrown 5 or 6 more picks in that game, but I digress.
No,
could have, should have. But I think you prove that defense does win you playoff games and ultimately a Super Bowl. And the Eagles proved that tremendously. And you got to shore up this defensive line and your secondary in every way, shape, or form. I think Hutch, coming back with firepower, you need to get a partner with him on that pass rush. And you really should have addressed it last year. I like what they did, obviously, with Zarius Smith, but he went completely cold in that game against Washington. The guy that you picked up to fill up that void. What I was really disappointed is how absent he was in that game. And I feel like that hurt you. He didn't obviously throw 5 picks, but there was nothing really that I saw spectacular from him. So you got to shore up that defensive line. The offensive line's getting older too. These guys are aging, and you got rookie contracts that are going to be coming to the end after this next season. So your window, like we said on the last show, your window is still open, but it's slowly starting to close after this season. So you really got to start making that splash and making that impact, especially now that you lost Johnson, you've lost Glenn. You've shored up the coaching staff a little bit, but there was a specific relationship that Jared Goff had with Ben Johnson that I don't know is going to be replicated with this new coach. And time will tell, but there's a lot of additions that we're going to have to make in this offseason. And I still think F them picks. I think if the opportunity arises that you can get, somebody obviously like a Myles Garrett to fill that void, I think you definitely have to start trading some draft picks and maybe even some of these starters to make up for it.
I know this pissed you off. Coach Campbell not getting
I was so sick. It's a complete monopoly. Yeah, I think that was I think it was all a monopoly. I think that it's all politics at the end of it. I don't know how I told you, Dad, I would have been way more, accepted if it would have went to Dan Quinn. You lost to Dan Quinn, even though the playoffs don't have any bearing. The playoffs don't have a bearing on it. But the fact that you beat Kevin O'Connell twice, and the second game handedly to win the NFC North, and that still lost you that Coach of the Year spot. I have no idea how that happened. So that tells me that obviously is a thankless award, and that's all politics in the voting process.
Yeah. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I think that they took that. They looked at things a little bit differently than what we're looking at it. I think, yeah, he was fantastic. Campbell was great, but I think we're maybe looking at it as kind of like a homer statistic and award because of how much this town loves Dan Campbell and how much he's praised here. But I think the voters look at things a little bit differently than what we're looking at it now. They're looking at it, what team did he have to work with? With Campbell, Campbell had so many weapons, so much talent. And you look at the gentleman that won it, and it was kind of, he did a little bit more with less. And I think voters take that into perspective. When they're taking any kind of awards for any professional sport, I think for coaches, it's what you can do with less. And
Campbell could have won it last year. He could have won it last year.
Mm-hmm. I think he got, well, I mean, two coaches, both of them won, one won 15 games. They both won 15 games. That's the thing is that, one, actually the Vikings won 14, but still, I still feel like that because Campbell defeated O'Connell twice in the regular season and ultimately led the division, that should have been enough right there. And I think that O'Connell, did he have a little bit less to work with? Sure. But he also had a quarterback in Sam Darnold that had a completely unbelievable season. Yeah. And they also had a very, very good offensive line. Justin Jefferson, they also have the best wide receiver in all of football, arguably. So, I think that they both have equal amount of weapons, maybe some more on defense or offense than others, but I still feel like that Campbell, and this is not coming from a homer perspective. This is coming from a guy that has built this team from the ground up over the last 4 seasons, basically from a 2 to 3 win team to now a 15 win team. Yeah. And I think he got completely robbed. I mean, I would have felt bad if it was anybody else too. I mean, like I said, Dan Quinn, I would have been completely happy if Dan Quinn beat him out because, I mean, he turned that team completely around. They were a 7 win team last year.
Yep.
So
I totally agree.
But it is what it is. I mean, obviously, and I feel like at least one award that I feel like was rightly deserved was Josh Allen with the MVP. I'm glad he was able to beat out somebody like Lamar Jackson. I really feel like,
Oh, you froze up too now.
Uh-oh. I think he was going to go with Josh Allen is more deserving of Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, based off of his performance.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think overall, as a whole, he had the best overall year for quarterbacks. Yeah. I'm very happy that Mahomes did not win a Super Bowl because I think that a lot of people would think, oh, yeah, let's give it to him again because Mahomes, it seems like the golden boy of the NFL, whether you like it or not. But Josh Allen seems like he really does deserve that award more times than not. And I think this was definitely his year. And I know a lot of Lions fans thought maybe Goff had a shot, but Goff's last couple games in the regular season really kind of threw that for kind of down the drain a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Hey, Mike. Mike joined us. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I had accidentally deleted the link. Apparently.
Oh, man.
So I've been trying to get you to resend it to me, and you finally did.
Yeah, no problem. So what are your thoughts on what are your thoughts on Campbell not getting the Coach of the Year?
I'm not surprised, but I think he deserved it.
Yeah, I do too. Okay. Well, moving on. Let's move on. The Red Wings. We got the Four Nation.
They could make the playoffs.
Any score yet? Does anybody know?
I think it just got underway, about 10 minutes ago or so?
It just got underway. Those games start a little later because of all the ceremonies prior to puck drop. And this game is so deeply plugged that they're going to do every little bit of this. This game's probably not going to end until 11:30 at night. Yeah. But it's exciting. I mean, as a Red Wing standpoint, you have Dylan Larkin playing for Team USA and Lucas Raymond playing for Sweden.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting. Dylan Larkin scored in the previous game against Canada. So, I mean, look for him to have another pretty good game tonight. I know he's probably on the 4th line for Team USA. Yeah. That's how deep Team USA is.
Yeah.
But, man, this has been fantastic hockey to watch.
Mm-hmm. It really has. I was really impressed. I like this format.
And I know it was really just to kind of give it an open-ended welcome back to the NHL joining the Olympics, again, because NHL players have not really been able to play in the Olympics. So, I mean, to be able to do this again, I think it's definitely stood up to, all the hype that they had surrounding it. It didn't look too good on paper at first, but the first couple of games were obviously right out the door. They were great. They were effective. They were aggressive. And obviously everybody knows what happened the first 3 seconds of that USA Canada game. And now we got to take 2 for the championship. So it's definitely lived up to the hype, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with Dan. I mean, this has been excellent hockey. Really, really good. Really entertaining.
What do you think, Steve?
I'll admit I haven't really. I only saw the highlights of the USA Canada round 1, but now I'm tuned in after watching some of those. I'm like, babe, I'm watching the game. You could do your own thing. I'm watching the game tonight. Because it's from what I saw and what Danny was sharing, and what we talked about. It's been some entertaining hockey, and it's definitely like a warm up for the Olympics, a free warm up. So it's cool to see.
Mm-hmm. How about the Wings? You think this guy on the screen right here has turned it around, eh?
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
For those that say that a coach doesn't make an impact, I mean, you can ask the same thing to the Detroit Pistons fan base. But yeah, Todd McClellan, obviously, was he 13-4-2, I think, so far since taking over for Uncle Fester, and he hasn't looked back. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, and it was play effing hockey is all he had to tell the guys after that first practice. And you can put it on a T-shirt. You could.
So what do you do, Derek? Do you keep him? Do you sign him now as a coach, or do you seek a new coach out?
He's already locked up.
You locked him up. So that's okay. Oh, cool.
I think he's on. Is it a 3-year
So they're pretty
deal,
confident in him, I guess.
Yeah, I think they get. It's like an undisclosed deal, but they usually sign coaches for 3 years, and he's kind of on one of those deals right now where I think he's got a lot of little pull. I mean, with the whole relationship with Yzerman that they built. And obviously with his success he's had early on, I think that a lot of people are already singing his praises, which obviously it's well-deserved. And I mean, he leads this team into the playoffs. If you would have cut ties with, as you call him, Uncle Fester a little sooner, you'd be talking about another coach of the year in Detroit right now. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I think unfortunately because he did miss some time, obviously I wouldn't say it was halfway through the season, but a quarter of the season he ended up coming to the Wings. I feel like that's going to hurt his coach of the year candidacy there. I don't think he'll probably be in the running, but I think I would put him as a top 5 for sure. But at the same time, he has previous success. Obviously he was under the Mike Babcock administration here in 2008, won a cup as an assistant coach and went off into greener pastures, was a coach with San Jose, led them into the playoffs. Hasn't really been a head coach in a while, but I mean, he has not missed a step. I will say that. And it's a perfect blend. I feel like what he's brought here has just been that aggressive style. And I think a lot of guys, we talked about this on our last show too, is that I think a lot of guys were just kind of going through the motions with Lalone. I think they were protesting. I feel like they weren't playing to their full potential on purpose to get his ass out of here. And we talked about this many times. Like if Yzerman didn't make a move before the All-Star break to get rid of him, then there's something wrong there. And sure enough, he was gone 25 games into the season.
That's what I was going to say. It's making Yzerman look like a genius right now.
Well, he was on the hot seat for a while. I mean, he was. I won't say his job was at jeopardy, but he was losing a lot of confidence with the fan base. And I feel like if a decision wasn't made by Stevie to get rid of Lalone, to take out the trash, then a lot of people would have been really throwing his name under the bus. So I'm glad he made the decision. It's paying off. You're a solid point ahead in the wild card race. You have that number 2 spot. Yeah. And I hate, as much as I love this 4 Nations tournament, it kind of put the brakes on a really, really good run for the Red Wings. So I'm really interested to see when they get back on the ice. They've already started practicing, the guys, obviously, that aren't in this tournament. They're starting to practice, kind of get their feet back under them. And you don't want to be rusty. 2 weeks off when you're on a hot streak does sometimes it can hurt, and it could also hinder a team that's on a run. So I hope that they don't take a step back. I hope they can pick up where they left off because they need a huge push here in the next couple of months for the playoffs.
So who's our go-to goalie?
You got to give it to Talbot, I think, at this point. I think Cam Talbot has, even though he's the raw veteran, he's kind of given you a lot of spark. I mean, he's 30, 35, 36 years old, but he's still proven that he can go the distance. Alex Lyon on the screen, I feel like, he's just not had it this year. He's kind of been in and out of injury protocol. Husso, don't even get me started. I feel like he shouldn't be on this team. That's a waste of cap space. I think you need to cut ties with him. But, Alex Lyon, I had high hopes that him and Talbot would be a good 1-2 punch. But Lyon's just been kind of, too iffy. He's been kind of flashy here and there. But last year was a very good year for him. But I feel like he's kind of regressed a little bit in his backup role. Danny?
I agree.
Yeah. it's hard to really trust Alex Lyon when you've watched his past couple games. I know it's been a little while, but he got pulled. I think he let up 2 goals and 3 shots, and they ended up pulling him.
3 shots. Yeah.
Very quick pull. He's got a very short leash. I don't think he's really trending upwards in the right direction. And I think that you're going to see Sebastian Costa come here probably next year and challenge for a spot on this team. Alex Lyon, I think his deal, he's got another year left on his deal, or this might be his final year. I have to double check. I know we got Talbot for another year, and unfortunately, Husso is going to be sticking around unless you can buy him out, which is another big topic. Is you're paying Husso $4 million to pay in the AHL. I mean,
or be on IR, either when he's not in the.
You have 3 goalies that potentially would be NHL potential backup goalies in most places where you're pretty much rotating starting role. I don't really think that Cam Talbot or Alex Lyon is an NHL goalie right now in their career. Talbot's glory days are over. I mean, I'm just going to be blunt and honest. He's a decent starter. He's going to win you some games, but he's not going to be your long-term role in that position. I think you're hoping that Sebastian Costa or Trey Augustine in 3 years is going to be that guy.
That should be your future one too.
How is he doing in Grand? Like, is he seem solid? Does he seem like he's going to be that guy, or what do you guys think?
From the stats I look at, he seems like he's been doing okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
I would agree. I think they can make the playoffs this year with Talbot, but he's not the long-term answer.
No.
They're going to have to go with the rookies.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of like, we got the rookies on ice waiting to come here. You only imagine if you were to have just, maybe a B+ goalie. I would say you have got goalies like Talbot and Lyon. They're B- goalies. Oh, there you go. Right off the rip. But like you said, they're backups at best. They're backups on any other team, maybe even a 3rd string goalie. Cam Talbot, like Danny said, his glory days are behind him. If we had Cam Talbot maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I'd say, you have a legitimate starter there. But I feel like, just imagine if we had some B+ to A- goaltending on this team, because I think we'd have maybe 5 to 10 more wins more than we do now. But offensively, I think we're okay. We're definitely looking good. I think Lucas Raymond picking right up where he left off last year, obviously has made a big impact for Sweden in the 4 Nations Cup. Same with Dylan Larkin. You know what you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Much better last few games stretch for Alex DeBrincat, Patrick Kane. I think they finally woken up after a slow start. But I think really your 1, 2, and 3 lines have really shined for this team. The defense is starting to play a little bit more tight. So I mean, we're in a good spot, 61 points at the halfway mark. And, if you can replicate that the next half of the season, I think you're going to be solidly in the wild card race.
Steve, you have an update on the game?
1-0 Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. Right off the bat.
Canada's looking for redemption. They're really
looking for that. Guess who got that goal, Steve? Nate McKinnon.
Who?
Nate McKinnon.
Oh, okay. I had him on my parlay. That was the hardest leg.
Yeah, that was the hardest leg. So now, go figure. The hardest one.
Now I need USA to win, though. I need USA to win.
Wow.
Come on, USA.
Yep.
Well, how about the Pistons?
Yeah, I mean,
surprise right here.
We're talking about leadership. Oh, I mean, but
bigger
the thing is it's just been a game changer. And these coaches that came in and taken on that Detroit grit mentality, and it's like exciting to see because these players are really buying in. I feel like, I mean, they're playing with more spark, more energy. And the Pistons had that big injury earlier in the season. It seemed like with Ivy, it seemed like it really. I mean, it affects a team like that when they go down, but they're still keeping pace, and they could definitely make the playoffs.
I'm not taking anything away from the coaches, but do you think that the way the Lions have played the last 2 seasons maybe has sparked the Pistons and the Wings a little bit too?
You're not far off there, I don't think. That's a thought.
100%.
I like that theory. I mean, it's 100%. Yeah, I agree with Derek. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's contagious. When you have a team that's winning, and of course, these players are sitting in their homes watching the same thing. It's contagious. They want to feel that envy. They want to feel that pride. They want to be part of that culture. So I agree with that. Yeah, it's contagious when you have a good team.
We might not be a city of champions, but it looks like we got 4 playoff teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And when can we say that's ever happened before? And they talked about this on 97.1 and other outlets.
I don't
too,
know. Could you tell us, Derek? I really couldn't.
No, it's never happened. Not all four teams. It's never happened when all four teams. And I agree. You can never have all four teams playing the same season because obviously you have hockey and hockey and basketball. They start in one year and they transition into the next. But you know what that kind of entails anyway. But I think if you want to count the Tigers making the playoffs in 2024, and then you kind of want to say like the Red Wings and the Tigers, or the Red Wings and the Pistons, and then of course the Lions this year, you can kind of call that what it is. But no, I think it's contagious. I think that this is, like Mike said, this was once a very proud sports town with champions. When you look at the Pistons and you look at the Red Wings and the Tigers, obviously when they were winning, but you've got that inspiration back again. And I think all four teams doing well. And you got two of the teams that are solidly in the playoffs right now with the Pistons. They're in 6th spot. They're in the play-in game, and and they have a 3-game lead on that. So I think that you're in good shape. You're in good shape right now to make the playoffs. And I would have never thought that for the Pistons. Like, who would have thought the Pistons would have probably a better chance to make the playoffs than say the Red Wings?
They played last year for sure. I mean, what a
they won 13 games. Yeah. They won 13 games. They have 27
because
wins,
really
wins.
It's the same team though. Really, if you look at the roster, I think one or two guys are different, but it's essentially the same team.
Yeah.
A couple additions.
And then Cade is also healthy. Cade's also 100%
and Cade has
that's
finally,
huge too. Yep.
In his 3rd year, Cade Cunningham has finally broken out and to be that star, that 25, 26 points a game scorer that we were wanting when we drafted him 1st overall a few years back. So with a healthy Cade, obviously we've gotten some depth signings in the offseason. And I think that, we made fun of Goris for just kind of like leaving this team out to dry as he was in his $1 million mansion down in Florida, but he's actually invested into this team once again. So, and I'm hearing rumors that they might even be bringing a WNBA team back to the Motor City. So there's a lot happening here with the sports. I'm happy to see it. So
me too.
I love the winning.
Well, let's talk about our Tigers here. That's the final one.
Bless you, boys. There they are.
Yes.
What do you think?
Exciting times.
Steve's ready.
I love Jackie Boy. I'm glad they got him back. Honestly, it was a great fit when they first signed him last year. It was kind of a bummer he wasn't in for our magical run, but he ended up winning a ring anyway with the Dodgers. So he's not mad about it.
No.
So he came back. Yeah. And we got some experience now. Now Flaherty's kind of has a little bit worn on his glove. He's got that playoff pedigree, even though he didn't. We'll not talk about his stats in the playoffs, but but still, it's experience nevertheless. But I love the guy. Him and Tyreek Skubal have great chemistry together. I think Job's going to step in to be kind of your back end guy. I heard he's working on a new nasty curveball. And of course you got to fill some holes in other places. Like it's not. They didn't shore up exactly the starting pitching that I'd like them to, but we got a decent rotation along with a decent bullpen. And you got to remember we're coming off the high of last year, that magical run. So this team's going to come off.
They got a taste of it.
Yeah, and now maybe we have a healthy Baez, and maybe we'll see him hit a ball every now and then. So he's going to start. Yeah, I mean it'd be nice. And then Torkelson. You just kind of have to wait and see how he pans out. We'll see how his spring goes. It's kind of his last straw here. He doesn't have much more left of that wick going, for him in Detroit, in my opinion. And you have to move on at some point. Torres, I'm kind of excited to see him, the new acquisition.
From the Yankees.
And I think, hear me out. I think Parker Meadows is going to be one. I'll say it again. I said it last year. I think he's going to be one of those guys. He's going to. I know he had a cold start, of last year, but I think he's learned a lot. I think he's really going to come in and, take control of that center field and be quite a game changer for us.
I agree. I think he's learned a lot. He's really growing.
Yeah.
He should have a good season.
If Green's healthy, I think just as well as Carpenter. We have a solid team,
Yeah. What about
I think we definitely have I think we have a better team on paper than we did at this point last year. I think starting the season, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, and we attested to this on one of our previous shows, is that I don't think it was a sustainable run. I feel like we got lucky at the right time, and it was timely hitting, timely pitching that got us to where we were last year. This is the season where we have to prove that it wasn't a fluke. And I think on paper we have a team that's capable of making the playoffs. We have to just make sure it all comes together. As it relates to Torque, I've said this before. I think he's a bust. I don't want to see him on the starting roster. I think that there's still left to be desired at that first base position. I know obviously you lost out on Alex Bregman. We won't get into that. That's a tough subject, but I think that we dodged a big bullet by not signing him to the demands he was looking for.
Yeah,
so Red Sox can have him for that, but I still think though, I really wish that. I wish that there was a little bit more attention set on Nolan Arenado. I know that there was some discussions about picking him up, and I know that Vladdy Guerrero Jr. has been discussed with a major trade. You've already started spring training, so I really don't think any more big moves are happening. I think Danny said this earlier that,
Nolan,
I think
maybe
the team I think
Nolan,
that you have right now is your team that you might go into the 2025 season with. Nolan Arenado might, because I know he's coming off with the St. Louis Cardinals and he don't want to go back there. I don't think they want him back. So I would welcome him with open arms. I think if you take the rest of his contract, which was 3 years at $60-something million, I think that that's a pretty good deal.
It's steep.
It is steep for an older guy,
but he's going to be an upgrade regardless.
Yeah, we do not have. That's the problem with this Tigers team is that there's not one guy aside from Tarek Skubal that is a household name. I would not buy the jersey of anybody on this team aside from Skubal as it sits right now. You need that household name. The Red Wings, they have a few. Obviously,
unless you're a hometown guy, you're not.
Carpenter,
Dylan Larkin. And I think Kerry Carpenter, and the thing with Kerry Carpenter is I love the guy. He just needs to stay healthy and play more games. And I know they use him in there for the left to be a lefty. I know they bring him in there in certain aspects.
That's exactly why he's not a household name because he
can't hit left-handed pitching. He can't hit left-handed pitching to save his life.
Yeah,
he said
that too. That's a huge flaw. Yep.
That he's working on.
That's his down. That's kind of his Achilles heel. Is that if he can work on hitting left-handed pitching, he'll be a little bit better. And I mean, but what did he play last year? 110 games, 115 games. He was injured for the most of the playoffs. So yeah, he definitely needs to, I think, play some more games and work on hitting left-handed pitching. But
Green too needs to stay healthy.
And he sacrifices his damn body so much in that outfield. He's a wonderful outfielder. He's probably one of the top 5 outfielders in the game, but he does sacrifice his body, and I think it's going to catch up with him. I think he's taking years off of his career if he continues to make those leaps and dives. But as a hitter, he was an all-star this past season. I think he's a 20 to 25 home run hitter. He's got to improve the average. I think he needs to hit maybe in the 270s to 280s, but I think Green's another guy that can have a big season. But I'm with Steve. I like Parker Meadows. I think Meadows, if he didn't have that slow start, if he would have caught on a little bit earlier and maybe had that entire run throughout the season, he would have probably been a 25 to 30 home run hitter. I think Parker Meadows has got what it takes to take it to that next level. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is a playoff team like they were last year. I think you made some improvements at the pitching role, not like Steve said, not like you really wanted to see. I'm still very, very weary about Casey Mize. I feel like this is his last year to really prove himself.
I agree.
I think he does deserve a fifth start, that fifth starting spot in the rotation. But yeah, Jace Young, I want to see what he can do. I want to see what Jackson, what Jackson Jobe can do. Reese Olson. Yeah. There's a lot of questions that remain to be answered in this season, and I just hope that it's all for the right reasons.
Well, they all got a year under their belt, so they got a taste of that playoffs.
A lot of hype.
Yeah, a lot of hype. So you think Torque is trade bait? They're going to keep him or what?
What's that?
Torque, you think they're going to keep him? They're going to trade bait?
I think they're going to probably. Well, he's on the roster right now. I think he's kind of your backup or maybe like a DH role. I think you might use him as trade bait, but his value is really low. What it was from last year, especially coming off that 30 home run season just a couple years ago. I mean, what a complete regression.
Yeah,
he's got to make up for it.
I think he's gonna have a monster spring camp. I really do.
Yep.
I think he's gonna have a really good couple months. And then you'll see if he can kind of keep it going once head back to Comerica here in Detroit, or I should say we head to the Dodgers and play a really good team. So you're going to see what the Tigers are made of right off the bat at the
Oh,
start
yeah.
of the season.
Because you're against the world champions.
The schedule is not easy for the Tigers to start.
No.
And I think a lot of people will be quick after the Tigers lose 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. I'm sorry, the Dodgers are probably going to shove it down your throats a little bit. And as far as Tort goes, I think you're going to roll with him this year. And I think that they're not going to have as much leniency with him when he's striking out 0 for 4 strikeouts anymore. But I think you have to kind of give him another year. You don't want to go into that mentality of, well, he was our bust. We got him first overall. Oh, he was our bust. Oh, Casey Mize, another first overall, another bust. So the Tigers are not, if you look at it, you don't want to have 2 potential busts. They're willing to just drop at the dime, basically. Yeah. And I think if you're going to give up on both Casey Mize and Torkelson, and then also another potential Matt Manning, giving up on Matt Manning, who's trying to work his way back to the starting rotation. There's a lot of guys that are still chomping at the bits, and I think you can't give up. I still do not want to give up on Torque just yet. Casey Mize, I feel like Tommy John surgery is really hard to come back from.
Very tough.
But obviously you're going to lose your velocity, but he never was really a high velocity guy. So I think he'll be fine, but you're not going to see the real Casey Mize until probably June or July because he's not going to be able to throw 92, 93.
Yeah.
So there's some concerns there with Casey Mize. And then, of course, I'm not even going to get started about the Tigers free agent acquisitions because you spent $15 million for a guy that's probably not going to throw baseball in your uniform all year. But that's just my perspective. I hated signing Alex Cobb.
What a waste of money.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean,
but
that was a minor splash.
Verlander.
Yeah, really. And we saw where Verlander went. So I mean, it's just like, where that money could have gone. I mean, it definitely was a depth signing. It's probably a similar sign like with Jack Flaherty last year, but you got a lot more in return with Jack Flaherty, and look what happened. You got him back on your team. So no, and then of course Javi Baez too. I mean, there's all the question marks surrounding Javi. It's do or die for him. I mean, you have him locked up here for another few years. So I mean, you got to make the best of it. No one's taking on that contract. He's rolling up to spring training in a brand new freaking Porsche. What the hell does he do to deserve that? I mean, he can look good, but yeah. Getting paid millions of dollars to bat basically 199 and hit 5 home runs and strike out 200 times. I don't give a shit. I don't care to see it.
Yeah,
that's a good
don't
negotiator.
Showboat. Don't showboat.
No, you do not do anything to earn that.
He's another one that's going to have a monster spring training and come to Detroit.
He's got that Boris agent.
Yeah, it'd be like playing T-ball in the spring training and then being able to basically
an agent, Steve, right?
Man, I wish Scott Boris.
My son might be able to strike him out if I'm honest.
Man.
Really? I know. I think so. Boris gets
Patty Fix in there. Also, Michael Bingo joined us. So good to have you guys.
See who our starting pitcher is for Saturday?
No.
Kenta Maeda.
Yep. That's another one that they're trying to ease back into the into the lineup. I think he did. He obviously had some flashes in the pan when they moved him to the bullpen. We didn't see him in the postseason, thank God. But I think that. I mean, another guy that you're paying, a good amount of money to, you gave him the long-term deal. You didn't give it to Jackie. You gave Jackie a 1-year deal. You gave Kenta, 4 years, Danny?
I think you gave him 3.
3. So I mean, you got to ride it out. You got to ride it out with Kenta. Hopefully he's worked on something in the offseason because he did not have anything last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I don't have high hopes for him.
No. I think you'll just see him kind of as a middle reliever.
Update on the game.
Still keep him in the bullpen. It's
still
1-0. Yep. Canada. Yep.
7 minutes to go in the first period.
What about Michigan and Michigan State?
That's tomorrow night. That's going to be a big barn burner at the.
I don't have that there, but that's going to be exciting.
Oh, you didn't have Michigan basketball? I'm shocked.
No,
they've been
top team in the Big Ten, man. That's worth talking about. Yeah, Michigan.
March Madness is right around the corner.
Yeah, coming up in a couple weeks.
They could make a run. I don't know. They could make my March exciting.
Hey, speaking of coaches, another coach that complete turnaround. This is a team that won 8 games last year. They've won 20 already this year, and they're going to be solidly in the tournament.
Another turnaround.
Leadership matters.
Yep, big time.
It does.
NASCAR.
We watched this last Sunday.
Daytona 500 and the rain delayed Daytona 500. Willie B back to back.
I was looking at him to win too, and I'm like, I can't bet on the winner. It's Daytona 500, and I'm like,
I would never have taken him. I would have never bet on the winner. I wouldn't have bet on Willie B to win it back to back. That's only been done 5 times in the history of the race. So
they made money.
That's very difficult to do.
I know that's what I thought, but
he's been living the life of luxury. He was on WWE Raw the other night. He's been on all the talk shows.
Yeah,
damn, making his rounds.
Drove AJ Styles into the arena.
Hey, got to give him credit. Got to give him credit.
Yeah. So the winner of the 500 always gets notoriety.
Yeah. I know that Derek hates Jimmy Johnson, but I'm just going to reveal this right now. I threw $1 on Jimmy Johnson to win the 500.
Oh, good job.
Very, very close.
And I would have been by a wreck.
I think I would have won like $175.
I didn't even know he was still racing.
He races like 3 races a year. He races in the big races. He's a part-time.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. How would he? That would have been hilarious though if he would have somehow won. Like what?
I always put usually $1 on like Bubba Wallace or some guy that's never.
Bubba was at least all right.
Bubba was probably what I tell you, Steve. What I tell you, Steve. He's liable to wreck. I'm sure he got into a wreck. So, no, Bubba Wallace. No, Bubba Wallace. So be it. But Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, $1 to win probably would have been what plus 3,000 odds. So yeah,
I think it was like $175 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that.
Well, he ran mid-pack all day. He actually got into a crash, and the only reason why he finished third was because they all wrecked in front of him on the last lap.
Exactly.
I was clapping. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have a shot!"
And William Byron he won barely by a fender because he was literally about a quarter of an inch from being taken out in one of those big wrecks. So he lucked out too for that win.
He really did.
But it was
like you said, Derek. You got to be lucky to win this race, Daytona 500.
Yeah, that's why I say I don't bet on the winner for Daytona 500.
Yeah, they pack racing. Forget it.
Yeah. I thought it was entertaining. I thought, when the race finally got underway a couple hours after the delay, I thought the racing was good. Huh?
The food was good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, while we wait. But yeah, I think when the race actually got up and going, it turned out to be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know you're not a big fan of the pack racing, but that's Daytona and Talladega. We get that 4 times a year. So
I know. Well, they're on to Atlanta Sunday. So.
Another drafting track. It's another drafting track. Just just half the size.
Yeah.
So I know that you guys are more diehard NASCAR fans than Steve and I are, but I do watch it on occasion. Yeah. I do enjoy racing. I will say I like Flat Rock more so than.
Oh yeah, we've been there.
Yeah. But I will say this. I'll ask you guys this. I'll pose this question, and this is not political in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Is Trump or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson helping or hurting NASCAR when they show up to these events?
Well, Trump doesn't help anything.
I mean, he helped, and I didn't like the taxpayers having to pay for him to go around the track.
I mean, only a couple presidents have made it to the Daytona 500, and I think it was oversaturated a bit. I feel like, especially with the rains were coming, I think they need to kind of step it in gear. And we talked about this, I think the Daytona 500 needs to start at noon. I feel like they need to they need to stop with this 2-3 o'clock race times, but to screw around on pit road, do the thing with Trump. And then they're doing all this other crap on the side.
There's a lot of
they wasted all this time. It's all built up.
It's like, just get to the damn race at this point. Yeah. Well, that's where I was like, I honestly flipped it on and I'm like sitting there. Yeah. This pregame. Then you have Trump. Then was The Rock there? I missed that part. But
you don't have a driver to talk to.
Yeah, but every year they do this.
I lose interest. I'm losing interest. That doesn't help the fan that wants to see racing. I just want to see the race. I agree with Derek. You got to start earlier.
It's not a good old boy sport anymore, and we got to accept it. Unfortunately, it's the culture. They've hit a culture shock. It's an entertainment spectacle now. It's not a good old boy sport. It's more than mainstream. It went mainstream in the '90s with Jeff Gordon and then Jimmy Johnson, but now it's become something much bigger. And with Earnhardt, I mean, that's when they took it to the next level, and it got that notoriety than just being a local sport. But now it's just like. They're bringing in hip hop artists now, and all these boomers and all these old school fans are pissed about it because it's not their culture. They're not one of them. Yeah. So, but that's our country now. I mean, our country is all about the culture and all about this, including everybody.
Culture.
It is what it is, but I mean, I don't have to enjoy it, but I guess I got to accept it. Right. So, I mean, it is what it is. But no, I don't think
halftime show.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, I don't think, to answer your question, Danny, guys like The Rock and Trump, no, I don't think that they're helping NASCAR at all. I think it was just it gets the hype for that one race, but after Daytona, everybody forgets all about it. That won't be remembered for after Daytona. In a year or so, no one's going to remember.
Right,
that.
but you know that there are people that are like, "Did you hear? Trump's going to bring out the 500 flip on Fox," and someone's flipping that on, or The Rock wrestling fans. Oh, look, The Rock's on NASCAR. Flip it on. Let's see if he flips somebody off.
Only for that time, they're going to lose interest because it's taken forever to start the damn race.
Yeah, but even then, even with Trump, and with all the hype that race brought, it garnered about 6.8 million viewers, but it still was not the most. But it still was not the most watched 500. The most watched Daytona 500 of all time was 2005. It garnered 13.6 million viewers.
Who was there?
That was a long way to go.
Derek, I'm surprised Pitbull played saying there.
Well, Pitbull, he's still an entertainer, so he was already slated to play at the 500, even though he did quit Trackhouse.
He didn't have to, though. He didn't have to.
Right.
No, but I mean, obviously that was a commitment that he agreed to.
That's the culture, Kerry.
Yeah. I mean, Pitbull obviously was a part owner of a team, Trackhouse Racing, which Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez raced for. But
now he isn't.
No, that came out literally a day or two before the Daytona 500 that Pitbull was stepping down, which is huge because he's a big investor with Justin Marks' team, and it's kind of weird that he did that, and nothing's come out from that yet of why he stepped down. But I'm sure maybe politics, maybe it was a money something with money had to do with a contract dispute. I have no idea, but it was a little shocking to hear about that.
Yeah, it was.
He brought eyes to that team.
Yeah. All right. Well. It's a good show.
Yeah, always.
Right now, and
lot covered.
Can follow you guys at DSD Sports Chat on Facebook.
I changed our handle. How about that? Figured out how to change it.
Beautiful.
Updated.
Now that Steve's in there, you got to have the S.
Absolutely. Now we were talking yesterday about our next show, and I think what we're going to probably do is we're going to do it the week before opening day. So opening day is March 27th. I think we're aiming for March 26th, Steve.
Yep, the day before. So I didn't even realize opening day was that early.
It's late March. I feel like the last few years it's early and earlier, and in some of these Midwest states there's snow on the ground. It happened one year. Remember the Tigers had like an inch of snow on opening day.
Oh yeah,
hey, they're smart. At least they're starting on the West Coast.
Oh yeah. So they can follow.
Well, then that's the thing too.
They get more information then on Facebook.com/DSD Sports Chat, right?
Yep,
that's right.
Stay tuned.
Look out for our next show. Yeah, stay tuned for our next show to drop. We'll be posting about it here shortly.
Gotta go catch on to this game here.
All right.
Let's go USA.
Go USA.
Go USA.
Pray for Steve Sparley.
Good night. Yeah. Good night, guys.
You guys. Night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
All right. Night. Thanks, guys. Derek, I'll see you Saturday.
Yeah, see you Saturday. Yeah, Mom's birthday dinner. Be a fun time.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye. All right. Good show. Good entertainment. All right. Moving on, Mike. We're going to mention that the next city council meeting is Monday, March the 3rd at 7 p.m. in the council chambers located at 6000 Middlebelt Road. These meetings are a good way for you to get involved, voice any concerns that you might have. And on March 10th, there will be a budget meeting starting at 6 p.m. And I believe those are at the police station?
Yes.
Okay.
Have been in the past.
All right, let's get Joe in here real quick for Tax Talk. And then Mike and I are going to close out the show with some community events. So make sure you stick around for that. There's a lot of good ones. All right, here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's installment of Tax Talk with Joe Bartley from J&J Taxes and More. So tonight, I thought that I would probably answer the most basic, most asked question that I get every year from year to year, and it's something that probably you've asked also at some point or another, and it has a couple of variations. One could be, why did I not get more money back on my taxes? Or it could be, why do I have to pay so much this year? Or why was it different from last year? So this day and time, the way that things have changed over the course of probably the last 8 or 9 years or so, there's not a ton of deductions for the average person to take. Now, there's, of course, child tax credits, and there's some energy credits, and there's some things that can help you tax-wise. But most of the time, it's a very simple formula of what money you made as opposed to what money you had withheld for taxes. So it's like I like to tell people, there's no magic wand. You have to make sure that you have enough taxes taken out. Now, if you're a working person and you get a W-2, you want to check that W-2 and make sure that taxes are being withheld, and it should be enough to cover. If you see that it's a little short, or at tax time, if your refund isn't what you expected, or you're having to pay a little more than what you thought, you go in and you adjust that W-4 at work and have them withhold more. On the same token, if you're getting too much money back and you'd rather have it in your paycheck, then you can certainly make a change and have less withheld. But it's all up to the W-4. So the W-4 can be really confusing. It used to be where you would simply fill out your information, check single or married, and usually write 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 to show how many exemptions that you wanted to claim. Now, the number of exemptions that you claim on that W-4 really has necessarily nothing to do with what you actually claim on your taxes. So in other words, if you have, let's say you have 2 kids. So there's a mom, there's a dad, and there's 2 kids. So technically that's 4 exemptions on your taxes. You can still claim 0. And matter of fact, I usually recommend people do claim single 0. Now, they're going to hold more taxes out, but you're not going to have to worry about paying. And you probably will get some money back. Now, there's different schools of thought on that, and there's no right or wrong. Some people get huge refunds, and that's the way they like it. Some people pay a huge amount of money every year, and they're okay with it. Some people, they just try to make it even. And that's what most people really should do. But everyone's got their own thoughts. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. So that's really the biggest thing if you're not happy with the bottom line of your tax return at the end of the year. It's just making the adjustment on the W-4. Now, if you're just getting a pension and Social Security, now sometimes people think that Social Security is not taxable, but it certainly can be when you add other income to it. Okay. Now, you can certainly have taxes taken out of your Social Security, just like you can have taxes taken out of any pension amounts that you get. And generally, I recommend it, especially if your income is a little bit higher than the norm for a retired person. Most people on a fixed income don't want to get stuck paying at the end of the year. So you can also do that. There is a W-4P, as in pension, that you can fill out and send to your pension company, or sometimes you go online, or sometimes you can just call them and they can make the adjustment for you. But if your income is up, you probably want to adjust so that you don't get in trouble at the end of the year. Also, if you have, for whatever reason, a windfall, you hit a lottery, you hit a jackpot at Motor City Casino, you get an inheritance that you're really not sure if it's going to be taxed or not, the best thing to do is have taxes taken out immediately or send in an estimated payment. Now, your tax person can usually assist you with that. So that's something you want to do too. So just always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. But you want to cover yourself, again, so you're not writing a big check at tax time. I hope that helps. I'm Joe Bartley from J&J Taxes and More right here in Garden City. You can reach me at joe@jnjtaxesandmore.com. The office phone number 734-523-8291. It is a busy season. But if you need something, please call. If there's a specific topic you'd like me to talk about on Garden City Community Chat, drop Kerry an email and let him know, and we can do something for you. Thanks a lot. Y'all have a great week.
All right, Joe. Good information as always. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to get Mike in here now for some community announcements. Are you ready, Michael?
I'm ready.
Let's do it to it. Well,
that'll be the day.
Okay, it's time for some community announcements. So let's get Mike.
You know it's a lie, 'cause be the day when I die.
All right, here we go.
Garden City Ice Arena has ice for sale. Open skating, hockey practice, hockey games, birthday parties. If you want to rent ice, just call them at 734-793-1882.
All right.
Penny Bingo, first and fourth Wednesday of every month at the Radcliffe Center from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
What the heck?
Yeah, what the heck? Thank you. 25 cents per bingo card. Bring lots of pennies. Pennies are used as bingo markers. This is for ages 50 and older. Any questions, call 734-793-1870.
Yes, sir.
Straight Farmhouse is open for tours on Wednesdays and Saturdays from noon to 3. They have a what do we call it, Carrie?
A plethora.
They have a plethora of events. And you can go to www.straightfarmhouse.org for more information.
Love that word.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a ton of stuff going on over there, so you can check it out.
Yep. For your masonry needs, contact Ace Masonry, 30 years experience with brick, block, and stone. Jay Piner is the owner. Call him at 734-469-0633. When the scaffold comes down, the only thing left to stand on is the craftsmanship.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the carpet cleaner, Dennis Diekman, 734-299-6496, does carpet cleaning, tiling, grout cleaning, upholstery cleaning, hardwood floor cleaning, residential and commercial.
Yeah, Dennis is in there watching tonight. So, hi, Dennis.
Hi, Dennis. Garden City Senior Center presents acrylic painting on the first and second Friday of every month. Ages 18 and older. Tickets are $8. It's at 1 o'clock at the Radcliffe Center. The usual stuff. Yep. Any questions, call you, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Angel Aids, amplify an angel's quality of life. Stephanie Peters provides a variety of services for seniors and handicapped, including transportation. You can see a list of them there. You can contact Stephanie at 248-818-5334. Shannon Coffee, Notary Babe. For all your notary needs, call her at 734-469-8821. Garden City Public Library is having a community closet donation list, individual wrapped toilet paper, dollar store first aid kits, hats, gloves, scarves, scots, non-perishable snacks, soap, shampoo, toothpaste, pads, and tampons, bottled water. All items must be brand new. Please bring the donations to the circulation desk. Wayne County Veterans Services every Tuesday and Thursday from 8:30 to 6:30. You can make appointments by calling Wayne County at 313-506-0302. And the American Legion Department of Veteran Affairs takes care of all of your benefit questions and issues every Tuesday from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Please call 313-964-6840 to make an appointment. Okay, contact us. Do you have a question about an event, class, or just in general? You can reach us by visiting www.gardencitymi.org/park/contact us. Call or email us at 734-793-1850. Try Hockey for Free Day. Boys and girls ages 3 to 9, February 22nd. That's coming up real soon.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, 12 o'clock. Visit GardenCityHockey.com or scan the QR code to register.
Yep. Equipment is available to borrow. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garden City Local 1911 is having a bowling fundraiser on February 23rd at 4 p.m., $25 per ticket at the Oak Lanes Bowling Center. Mm-hmm. That's located on Millville Road, just between Ann Arbor Trail and
Joy, I think.
Yeah.
That's the Garden City Fire Department Union.
Yeah. Bunko Game Day, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock at the Radcliffe Center every second and fourth Monday of every month. Prizes awarded for most bunkos, high score, second high score, low score, money cup, ages 50 and over, $5 per person. Call the usual number, 734-793-1870. We are hiring. Join us. The Notre Dame Lounge has open positions, part-time bar help, backup kitchen cook. Contact Pat at 734-722-6911.
Mm-hmm.
Free bingo, the second and third Wednesday of each month, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, ages 50 and older. Second Wednesday sponsor is the Village of Westland. And the third Wednesday sponsor is American House, Dearborn Heights. Neighborhood Watch, second Tuesday of every month, 7 o'clock p.m. at the Garden City Police Department. Next meeting is March 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Dance Express has tumbling class, 6-week session. March 4th through April 15th. $30 are on Tuesdays as registration opens on February 18th from 4:30 to 5:20 is for 3 and 4-year-olds. 5:30 to 6:20 is 5 to 7-year-olds. 6:30 to 7:20 is also 5 to 7-year-olds. And 7:30 to 8:20 for 8 to 10-year-olds. No classes on March 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Great. Oh, by the way, I paid.
Oh, okay, cool.
And Chapmeister will be in Heat 2, Lane 5.
Okay.
So get your pig bucks ready to put them on Chapmeister.
Put it on the Chapmeister, yep.
Anyway, the Great Pig Races is the 8th annual. It's going to be $20. There'll be raffles, a cash bar. It's at the Radcliffe Center. We'll have Tony's making pulled pork for sandwiches. Again, got a couple pigs he's roasting.
Okay.
It's going to be a big event.
Yep.
Charity hockey game on Saturday, March 15th. The puck drops at 7 p.m. It's the Garden City Police versus the Westland Fire at the Garden City Ice Arena.
Well, that'll be good.
Rock and Roll United, Ring in the 50s. Tickets are $25. This is at Notre Dame Hall. It's on March 15th. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7.
Food available.
Yeah, food available. Okay.
Yeah.
For purchase, cash bar, lottery tray. Call for tickets at 734-612-3883. Sign up for our monthly newsletter. Learning events and classes, hours change and more. Sign up and create an account at gardencitymi.org/rec. Daddy-daughter dance, March 15th, 5 to 7. All ages, $20 for adult, $10 for child. Theme is Rock Out. Register at gardencitymi.org/parks. Daddy-daughter dance. Any questions, call the usual number. Dog Vaccination Day in Westland. Free to Westland veterans. Westland Car Care Towing is helping sponsor this. You can get vaccinations for only $25 and microchips for only $10. On-site Westland dog licenses for only $13.
That's good.
It's on Saturday, March 15th. St. Patrick's Day lunch. Lunch will be from 12 to 2. There'll be corned beef sandwiches, coleslaw, chips, dessert, and green punch, ages 50 and older. $15, Friendship Music Community, located at the Radcliffe Center.
Yeah, March 17th. Okay.
Comedy night fundraiser. The Dearborn Heights Moose Lodge is having a comedy night fundraiser. Kevin Kramus, our own Kevin Kramus, will be the MC. Derek Richards is a headliner, and Alana Gonzalez is featured. This is on March 22nd. Doors open at 5:30. Show starts at 7. It's the Dearborn Heights Moose Lodge. Cash bar, 50/50 raffle baskets, snacks available for purchase. Mom to Mom sale, April 5th, 9 to 2. Admission is $1. Early admission is $2. Large item room is a large item room. They got 65 plus tables. Get table rentals for $20 each. Bring your own gift table, $10 each. To register, contact Jessica Hedger at,
I'll say jrlarkins@gmail.com. Yeah, that's a small print.
Yeah. Adult Softball League Tuesday, co-ed, Thursday men's, Sunday men's. Cost is $500. Starts week May 6th. Umpire fee is $20 per game. Adult Kickball League, $250 per team. Friday, 6:30 to 11:30, May 9th through June 27th. Register now online at gardenCityMI.org/park/adults kickball. Any questions, call 734-793-1882.
I think that's something new that they're having this year.
Yeah. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Yeah, I was going to mention that one. The Inspire Theater's got performances on Friday and Saturday, March 21st, 22nd, 28th, 29th, April 4th and 5th at 7:30, and Saturday and Sunday, March 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th, April 5th and 6th at 2:00 p.m. Tickets are $22, and you can get them at inspiretheater.ticketleap.com. They're located on Warren Road between Vinoy and Wayne Road.
Yep.
Rain Road Cruise. It's going to be on June 14th in Westland. Don talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a big one, too.
This is a really big one. Yeah. Autos for Autism car show is on June 16th from 4 to 9. Garden City Middle School. Live music by Bonnie and the Working Girls. Delicious food by RJ Smoke Meats. Motorcycles are welcome. Register, sponsor, or donate online at www.autosforautism.com.
Mm-hmm.
Save the date. This is another cruise, Cruise and Hines, Sunday, August 24th. From
that's huge. Huge one.
Yeah, that's huge. It's bigger than Woodward Dream Cruise.
Got some big cruises coming up. And that's all I got.
Okay, well, I got the marketplace here. So let me see if there's something else I wanted to mention.
Okay.
We already talked about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yeah.
You talked about the pig race.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I don't know. I think we covered everything. Oh, St. Thomas has their world famous fish fry every Friday, starting March 7th through April 8th.
Oh, that's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, March 7th through April 18th from 4:30 to 7. Their menu, great dinners, fruits and desserts, friends and desserts. They're at 31530 Beechwood Street in Garden City. You can call them at 734-427-1533, or you can just show up. All dine-in dinners include coffee, tea, or milk at no charge. Okay, program instructors needed. What else we got in here? Anybody?
Mm-hmm.
St. Patrick's Day lunch we talked about. Cupcake decorating.
Yep.
Straight Farmhouse has got a variety of stuff. We talked about them.
Mm-hmm. Plethora.
A plethora. Cookie decorating. Well, yeah, we talked about everything else, I think.
Okay. That's probably it.
There is a cozy winter reading challenge.
Oh, where's that?
That's at our library, but it's already over.
How's it over?
Tomorrow's the last day. Okay.
Huh.
Friday from 12 to 5.
They got one more day then.
Yep.
All right. With that said, Mike, I think we're ready to call this a podcast.
Podcast, yes.
I want to thank
the guys are great.
Derek, Steve, and Dan from DSD Sports Chat. They did a good job. Always good information on here. If you want to follow them, you can go to facebook.com/DSD Sports Chat. And they're going to be doing, I think they said their next show will be just before Tigers opening day. So you want to catch that show.
Yep.
Also, big thank you to Joe Bartley from J&J Taxes and More. Always some good information during tax season. You can contact Joe at 734-523-8291. Set up an appointment and ask him a question. Joe's available for any questions that you might have. Also, a big thank you to my fantastic co-host, Dr. Tom Iwinski, and Mike Jones. Good job as always. And a huge shout out to each and every one of you for sharing part of your night with us every Thursday night. We really appreciate that. Remember, this show will be available right after we sign off tonight. I would imagine a lot of you are probably watching the hockey games, so you can catch this later at your convenience by going to facebook.com/GCChat. Feel free to share the show with your friends as well. Also catch us on our YouTube channel. Just search for the Garden City Community Chat Show. You'll find not only this show, but all of our past shows as well. Just click on the live tab and please subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. We would appreciate that as well. And at the end of all our shows, Mike and I always like to thank all the healthcare workers,
absolutely,
responders, police and fire, everyone on the front lines every day who serve and protect us. We can't thank you enough. Be safe. We want you to know you and your families are in our thoughts and prayers every day. And when you see any of these heroes, please let them know how much you appreciate them. Any final thoughts, Mike?
Just get vaccinated. The flu is, in particular, is really going up.
Yeah. I guess it's really hitting the kids, really the young ones.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Idiot parents won't vaccinate because they've been listening to that dumbbells Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare that we got.
Yeah, and the measles, big measles outbreaks too now in Texas.
Yeah.
All over. So, yeah, I don't know. Remember, the success of a community depends on the community, so please support your local businesses. And please don't hesitate, vaccinate. Get that COVID booster and your flu shot, RSV shot, measles shot, all of them if you can. Remember, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting others as well. And remember, Mike, if you see something,
say something.
That's right. We need to look out for one another out there. For all your weather information, head on over to DrTomsWeather.com. It's got a great user-friendly website over there with a lot of good information for you. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for listening. If you would like to contact any of us here at the chat, once again, email us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. We always like to hear from our listeners. Let us know how we're doing, what you'd like to see more of. We will see you right back here live on Facebook and YouTube next Thursday, February 27th at 8 p.m. Remember, once again, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/GCChat and our YouTube channel. Just search for the Garden City Community Chat Show. And please hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate that. Everyone, have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay safe, stay warm, and have a good night. Mike, you take care, bud.
Yes, sir. You too.
See ya.
Yep.
Okay, that's a wrap. You guys take care. Make sure you stay warm and stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again for watching, and take care. Good night.